This would be a good time to show y'all this. So we mentioned it before, but this time we actually do have the next zone of Neolithic Dawn almost ready. We're finishing up the last couple areas. I can only show y'all the first section right now, but it is incredible what the art team's been able to do with this. We have some environment artists now, Sam and Ian, who've been doing a killer job. Our level designer, Kevin, has been producing some amazing realizations of these real world locations turned all the way back to 10,000 BC. So we're really excited to show y'all that. I have it right here. Along with the art for the environment, we've also been working on some major graphics upgrades for both Quest and PC. So have a look. This is Bruce Peninsula, the next zone after Saugeen Bluffs. Let me turn my graphics on high so y'all can get the full effect. This is the next zone. You're gonna arrive by canoe. Craig takes you here to the glacier, and then you start on your adventure. Now, we're still working on this zone, so it's not fully interactive yet. We're finishing out the art, but this will be something supporters will be able to play when we get the co-op alpha ready. You've probably saw that we have some new avatars in the making. So look at me, this is old Avatar. This is old Avatar James. You know, they were pretty cool, but, you know, kind of basic, not too much detail on them. You know, we pretty much generated them with what we had, like super low budget. But now that we have a team, we have all new Neolithic Dawn avatars. These are for both Quest and PC. We've optimized them to look good on both, to max out your GPU and max out that Quest 3 while being performant enough to run on that Quest 2 as well. They're actually more performant than our current avatars, if you can believe it. And here we have them. This is the new male base model. So we're going to be adding different kinds of heads you can set, different hairstyles, different outfits. You can also change the skin. Instead of having like different skin colors, like we had a few different options, we now have full-blown skin color sliders. So you'll be able to really fine-tune to look exactly how you want. Here's the female-based avatar as well. Yeah, so they're much more detailed, as you can see, and they're gonna have multiple costumes as well as hairstyles that are gonna really take our customization to the next level. Along with the avatars, we've also replaced the animal art. So these will be coming a little bit later. We're working on brand new animals, brand new wolves, brand new deer, brand new bears, and other megafauna as well. Not just visually, not just in their art, but actually the full-blown AI is going to have an overhaul that's going to make them significantly smarter. Here's what the deer is going to look like. Yeah, I can't wait to eat this guy. It's going to be delicious. Yeah, besides that, you know, we're working on the new character art. We're working on the new maps. This map alone is massive. I don't think I can actually fully appreciate the scale of this from first person, but if I were to zoom all the way out, it just keeps going. Y'all will explore this area for who knows how long, and there's 4 more areas just as big on the way as well. So really excited about that. Really excited to dive on in. Along with improving the art, the maps, we've also improved a lot of the other mechanics, like spear throwing and swimming. You now have these nice haptics when you swim, so I actually feel like I'm pushing the water. It's kind of crazy. You can push the water, you push yourself down.
Oh, okay, great question. Someone has asked about the atlatl spear thrower, and if there's going to be one and when we might see it.
Yes, there is, and very soon. So I have it not in this map, it's not really done yet, but we do have an atlatl that basically the way it works, we have a prototype of it. You can even hold it. It does like the finger pose and everything. It's in a test scene right now, so they're not in the world. But the way it works is when you're holding it and you put it over your shoulder, that's normally how you like store things or pull out your backpack. You just have to hover it over your shoulder and it chambers a spear from your inventory. It'll search through your backpack and find any spear, and it goes from the strongest ones first. We might let players actually change this option so that they can, you know, their preference, maybe they want to use up their weak spears before they throw their obsidian spear, you know what I mean? But yeah, it chooses a spear from your inventory, and then if you have a double-bladed spear, it actually flips it to the side with the strongest spear point, chambers it on that atlatl, and you just do a flicking motion, and it works with the new targeting spear throwing system that we showed in Devlog 3.
So another question. Are there any plans for agricultural systems, or are we going to be hunting and gathering for all of our resources?
That's a great question. So while we are in 10,000 BC and we are mostly still in the hunter-gatherer stage of our society, there will be some early invention of horticulture and basically early farming in the game. Like we talked about this map, there's 5 large maps about as big as this one. And each of them will have a campsite in it. And that campsite, along with other things you can do, you'll be able to breed plants. That sounded weird, but basically you'll be able to take a plant called teosinte, which I hope I said that right, but it's like a predecessor to corn. It's like an archaic corn. And when you breed the teosintes together, you're gonna be able to water them and select the best ones, and eventually you'll invent maize. You'll invent the first maize. Archaeologists aren't 100% certain like when the first maize was invented, but we're certain because it's gonna be y'all that do it.
The question of the hour is, what are some of the skills we might see on the skill tree as you progress the game?
Oh, that is a cool question. That's actually one of the best questions anyone's asked this stream so far. Did y'all hear that? It's what skills will you unlock? And this is actually something we've put a lot of thought into. So I'll explain kind of the evolution of the skill tree. So the skill tree started with this idea of mind, body, spirit. And that mind, body, spirit was basically the idea of how your generations progress. So each generation, you can only spend skill points when you die, but you earn the points based on how you lived. So if you're respecting nature, if you're killing deer, not just to go on a murder rampage, but you're killing deer and fully skinning and butchering them, not wasting food, not taking more than you need, basically you earn spirit points. You also earn spirit points for taming animals, and you'll be able to earn spirit points for helping nomads. Nomads is a new thing we're adding to the game. Basically, they're human NPCs. We talked about it a lot in the past. Everyone wanted human NPCs, but we didn't want people murdering each other or murdering people needlessly, because I know y'all, and I know that's what you would do if we made them killable. So, I shouldn't have said that on a TikTok. Unalivable. So what we did is the nomads are peaceful, friendly characters that basically pop up like randomly generated NPCs, similar to like, they'll be using a similar system to your character customization system. So they'll show up and they'll just look like another person. You'll be able to talk to them, and sometimes they'll give you little quests. Sometimes they'll give you little tidbits of information to help you on the level. And helping them on their objectives will grant you spirit points. So the progression for the tools is going to be more like Minecraft, where it's like you can craft anything as long as you have the material. We thought that'd be more fun. So we're not going to limit you on what you'll be able to mine. So if you're like trying to get a stone that's like stuck in a rock wall and it's like an obsidian stone, you won't be able to break it out with like a regular stone. You have to have like a flint stone or something harder. It's based on the idea, if y'all remember from chemistry or geology class, the idea of Mohs scale of hardness. Some rocks can scratch other rocks, some can't. That's kind of the idea behind it. And then the last set of the skill tree, because this is like a crazy question, it's a huge question. The last part of the skill tree, that's the biggest part where you upgrade your generation, is the body. And your body points are based on your survival, and those are where you upgrade like your hunger, stamina, be able to run faster, run further, climb longer without being exhausted, stay up for more days at a time without like passing out. By the way, we have passing out now and sleeping in co-op. It's kind of like Minecraft, where if you go to sleep, it shows everyone else like a indicator that's like 1 out of 4 players sleeping, go get into bed. And it's really funny, actually. When your friend goes to sleep, it's like you mess with your friend at the slumber party kind of thing, but they like ragdoll, and they have a bunch of Z's over their head, and you just see them sleeping there. And it's the co-op is going to be crazy. I'm really excited for that. But that's pretty much it for the skill tree. That's how it's going to work.
Is there a system for armor and clothing and how to get these things?
This is a good question. We were really torn on the armor clothing idea. So basically what we've decided is there will be unlockable outfits and armor and animal hoods. They're going to be super dope, but they're pretty much going to be purely cosmetic. So your stats are going to affect your ability to survive in most situations. The outfits and hoods and other things will be mostly cosmetic items. The benefit is that way it's like we can add more outfits that are unlocked without having to be like a progression-based system. Whereas if you could just, if they were like craftable or something else, you would quickly run out of cosmetic options. And like we wanted them to basically be a reward for players. So basically you'll be able to see how far you've gone by the things you've unlocked from clearing objectives and finishing levels. And we think it'll feel better, more rewarding to unlock those cosmetics that way, as opposed to just crafting it and being done with it. But yeah, so the scope of this game was massive when I started. There's a lot of things I wanted to do. And then once we started with the team, I realized that some of it's just not feasible in the time we have. So a lot of things may end up being held back for like a big major update on Neolithic Dawn, or potentially even a DLC. And one of those things is going to be probably armor, unfortunately. We still have cosmetics for outfits, like wristbands and stuff, so you can customize your avatar. The avatar customization is going to be like super in-depth. But in terms of like craftable equipment and armor, it's a little bit out of scope right now. So yeah, that's the answer to that one. Since y'all were so awesome and joined us on this live stream, I'm going to show you guys the full world map of Neolithic Dawn in the final game, how it will be, all 5 zones, how they connect, what the path is to get to them. It's like, I'll just show you. Hang on one sec. Pull it up. This is the Neolithic Dawn World Map, unveiled for the very first time to the public. Thanks for joining, y'all. This is what we've been working on these last few months. We are actually in deep already on the Lake Manitou map, and the last 2 are the Bear Islands and the Tundra, which we're really excited for. Right now, Lake Manitou is mostly gray boxes. We finished the level design. We're still putting in the art. And Bruce Peninsula is like 90% done with the art. And let me just tell y'all, the Celestial Halls in Bruce Peninsula is going to blow your mind. Like, as far as ancient Ice Age civilization goes, like, this is the most mind-blowing dungeon y'all will ever experience. And, like, honestly, I'm getting goosebumps because, like, I've only seen it, right? I've only seen the design and the layout. I haven't even played it yet, so I'm really excited for that. But yeah, as you can see, if you can see this map right here that we're streaming up here, you start at Saugeen Bluffs at the top. We're all familiar. That's the campfire hangout. That's our home. That's where the Crow tribe is from. Every zone is marked by different animals. So nomads or people from your village can be seen wearing crow feathers. And you actually see this on both the elder and the character base model's outfit. It's incorporated into their clothes. And basically that's where y'all are from. Now, Bruce Peninsula is the stag zone. It's the location of an ancient ridge that's now, the water level's risen. So it's an ancient caribou hunting ridge that used to exist in 10,000 BC in that area. And that's why it's the stag zone. And nomads you encounter there, you might see them with deer hats on. Like, that's what they're wearing because that's where they're from. That's what they have available to them. Lake Manitou is the wolf zone. That one's like got some like crazy swamps with like mammoth skeletons. It's like all mysterious, and it's got a whole underwater thing going on. So there's a huge underwater section. The dungeon involves like rising water levels and stuff. There's a campsite that comes out of the water. I don't even want to spoil too much, but it's really exciting. That's Lake Manitou. And then the Bear Islands is next. Bear Islands is like a return to form. You basically are on a canoe, you end up in a storm, stranded on this island, and you lose like all your stuff. So basically it's like return to basic survival. You don't even have a backpack anymore. Like, you're bashing rocks together. You're like trying to find a rabbit, like the Bear Islands is like a true survival experience where you're stranded on an island. It's gonna be really cool. And it ends with the final zone, the massive, expansive, and brutal tundra. And the tundra is where you finally find the mammoth herd. You've never seen so many mammoths before in your life, but you have to make it there across this ice.
Gonna be the biggest test of your survival skills so far.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's actually where you eventually find your ancestral homeland and you reestablish it. And that's the plan, y'all. Those are the 5 zones of Neolithic Dawn. It spans across the entire Great Lakes region. If you haven't noticed already, take this map and flip it sideways 90 degrees. This is a map of the Great Lakes. And each zone is a real world location based on a real world location rolled back to 10,000 BC.
Oh, another question for you while you're blinding your grandpa. So I talked about how the system for dying and reincarnation works, but how does that system work and change in the co-op mode?
The respawning system?
Yeah, like specifically for the co-op mode, how different is that?
Great question, y'all. That is actually what we've been working on these last 2 weeks. Hardcore. We have completely built the features for co-op and how that functions. And here's how it works. I wish I had somebody else so I could show you, but next video, we'll show y'all co-op gameplay because we've been testing it with the team and it's coming along really, really well. Basically, when you die, when your HP reaches 0, I mean, when you get unalived, when your HP reaches 0, you actually are downed before. So if you're playing with friends, they get downed and you see like a meter. If you got to get to them in 30 seconds and you help them up, and when you help them up, they're fine. They might not have full HP when they get revived, but you can help them up. But if you don't get to them in time, they experience what we call true death. In Neolithic Dawn co-op, true death is when your character dies. And since it's a permadeath game, every character's life is precious and they all end abruptly, never to be seen again. So when you die in co-op, we experience true death. You drop your star map, your amulet. We call it your dog tags. It's kind of like Apex. You get their dog tags and you actually can pick it up from their body. And it actually says your username on it. Like it'll say your name and it'll be like, if found, please return to Messenger Crow to tell my family I like tried. I was a hero. Let them know. And so when you bring the dog tags back to a totem, the totem has a crow on top, and the crow, you put the dog tags in a bowl, the crow will swoop down, grab them, and bring them back to the home village. And then the player who experienced true death will be reborn as a sibling or cousin who comes to continue within one lifetime. So you are not technically like in-game lore. In-game, you pretty much respawn. It's like Helldivers, you come back. But you're technically, like Helldivers, a reinforcement. You are not the same person. You might have your same cosmetics, but we're also looking
got that one friend who has a big family. Where'd all these siblings come from?
Much like Craig, that's how it works in co-op. But when the team dies, you still do the skill tree progression. And the other side of it is when you clear a zone in co-op, even if nobody died, if you did a perfect playthrough, you all retire at the end of the zone. And you still do the progression. And the next zone you start as your kids so you can spend your skill points. That's how it works. All right. Well, we can call it there so Sandy can get some sleep. Thanks for joining us, y'all. Signing off.